Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Check Your Mini-Map podcast. I'm your host, Threshold Breaker, but call me THB, and I'm joined by Ansem.
Hey guys.
Today we'll be discussing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Specifically, game worth, standard, and DLC, longevity, bugs, glitches, and maintenance, game style, and pace. So let's roll into this game worth standard and DLC. Brief plot point on the game. If you guys don't know what Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is, it's a game where you assume the role of Witcher, Geralt of Rivia, right? I'm getting that right. Who's a monster hunter tasked with finding a child from an ancient prophecy. The release date of the game was May 18th, 2015, so recently. The standard edition of the game was $59.99 USD. If you were lucky, you could have caught the Valve Steam sale, which put the Witcher titles at 80% off. So I got a good deal for the first Witcher, I believe it was the Enhanced Edition, and the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for about $43 and some change. Pretty good deal. I liked it, and it's an amazing game so far. The Season Pass is $24.99 USD. It's going to have 2 DLCs to my knowledge, Hearts of Stone, which is 10 hours, and it's an adventure where Geralt tries to complete a contract for the Man of Glass. That release is supposed to release in October of 2015, and the other DLC called Blood and Wine, which is a 20-hour adventure introducing a new area called Toussaint, is supposed to release in the first quarter of 2016. So we kind of covered the basics of the game. I guess, Anzam, I don't know if you want to talk about longevity of the game.
Well, I know that a lot of the gameplay can be varied by literally what you do in the game. So the longevity seems like it's going to be pretty high. I know I'm having a ton of fun playing it. I think that it's going to have a decent longevity. I mean, I didn't really hear the first two, but that just maybe because I wasn't so in depth in this area of gaming when they came out. But Witcher 3 has been a really, we've been waiting for this game, and we get it. It's great. It has only a few quirks here and there. Otherwise, it's fantastic release. Wonderful game. And you have, what did they say, 300 hours of gameplay in it?
I researched it. Somebody said 300 hours, and I was like, that's extremely high. So I went into how long to beat. I think it's called howlongtobeat.com, or howlongtobeat.com. It's basically a gaming site that tells you all different hours of gameplay, 2 games, and there's different levels. So roughly the game, if you complete it to the fullest, there's 157 and a half playable hours in the standard version of the game. So that's doing everything across the board. If you don't do the side quests and you just want to stick to the storyline as best as you can, it's roughly 38 hours. I mean, that's a big difference. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play all the other knickknacks and doing the treasure hunts, fighting the bandits, fighting the deserters. There's even pirates in the game. There's dungeons to raid. I mean, there's just a lot of good content to play, and doing the contracts too, makes the game even more enjoyable. I mean, usually the reason why I do the side quests are because they allow you to add to your character's attributes, right? You can build, your character's skill sets. You can build them up in their the character trees, and also you can get gear and essential things for your character to be stronger, better, faster.
It also just makes the gameplay a little more smooth because you aren't running into situations where the level of your enemies has suddenly jumped. I know when you go from White Orchid over to Villain, I believe it's Villain. So you go from the prologue area into the first act. When you transition, all the base enemies completely different level. You're basically going from, I believe it's on average somewhere between 3 and 5 for everybody in the prologue, all the way up to guaranteed basically everything 7. If you do your side quests, you're not going to get your ass handed to you.
I was just gonna say, what I like about the game, and this is a little against what you said, but What I like about the game is that if you're actually good with reaction and you know how to defend yourself and you know how to fight in the game, you're not completely at a loss. You don't need the best things going into the next zone, right? You can actually hold your ground. The fight will take that much longer. But I like that aspect about games. Like I like it that not only the level determines the difficulty as well as the gear that you have on, but you can actually defeat those mobs if you have the skill set to do so. And I don't mean like I just mean like you're a good player and they promote the fact that you're a good player. So they're like, oh, you're a good player, so it'll take longer for you to beat the mob, but we're not going to say you can't do something because you haven't reached this point. Sorry, guys, that was a really long explanation, but I hope everybody understands what I'm trying to say.
Well, I do agree. I mean, when I first went through the prologue section and got out of White Orchid and went on my merry way thinking that I'd be all fine, I ran into the first set of bad guys and I was like, why are you guys so powerful? The guys I just was fighting were pathetic. Maybe I'll go back and do the side quest to make this a little easier on myself because these fights are taking, 5-6 minutes to go through, where the other ones I was just wailing on them until they died. These I actually have to defend, I have to have some sort of strategy about how I'm going to deal with it because, like, you run into your first group of bandits and they have an archer. Well, if you don't go take out that archer, your fight is not going to be a lot of fun because every 2 seconds you're getting shot in the ass with an arrow.
Yeah, they don't miss. They really don't. They rarely miss. I should say. I mean, it's an enjoyable experience. I mean, it makes you think that what you just said makes you think about the fight. It's like, oh, I have a guy in heavy armor. Normally, like your mind would be like, oh crap, I got to deal with the guy in heavy armor because at least my mind naturally thinks like I want to take out the biggest baddest person first. But in the case like when you're playing The Witcher, it's like the archer is the nuisance, but if you're trying to guard, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can actually deflect arrow shots.
You can if you upgrade your guard.
If you upgrade your guard, okay. Well, maybe
you can
I'm not at that point yet.
If you, once you upgrade your guard, I believe it's to level 2. You can actually send those arrows back towards the archer. So at that point, it'll be great. But I mean, at the beginning, we barely could knock arrows out of the sky.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess I am beyond that point. I just put my points into different things. My character points.
I went for leveling up Axie right away. One for the fact that you use it in conversations. Like if you want things out of people, you do sometimes have to do it, level it up. But I actually went for the role of trying to be able to take on stronger mobs. First and foremost, like I wanted to be able to have the skill set so that I could take on something that was way too strong and survive it. Mm-hmm. So I put in one for shield, I put one in for Axie, and what I do, well, at least my strategy when you're taking on a big guy, is like you fight the bandits and you got the guy with the axe who stuns you. I always Axie him so that he's confused and disoriented, and I just run around and kill everybody but him first. That way I can focus on him without any other distractions and deal with him.
Yeah. Also using Quen isn't a bad idea too. Like if you get into a group of like 5+, put on Quen and you're good to go.
Yeah.
At least I think I'm level 6 or 7 now. I mean, I think there's a maximum of 30 levels.
I was also noticing that it's not like a lot of other RPGs where rank 100 is possible. Just fucking level up for 3 years and you'll have level 100 characters, no problem. It's like, this game is like, no, you only need to level up once or twice per area. Like, it's not a big deal to be a super ridiculously high level. You just need to level up a little bit. That's it.
Well, that's what we were going back to. Where I was trying to talk to was basically saying, like, if you're a good player, they promote that and they recognize that, and you're able to do things. It will take a longer period of time because you're not equipped to do, like, if you're 2, you may not be equipped to fight a level 10.
Yeah, I think it's 5 levels, and then you get the skull above their head, which basically says that if you screw up in a fight, they'll kill you.
Yeah, it's usually like 1 or 2 shots. Like if there's a skull above their head, I think it's like 1 or 2 shots. So you got to be on your A game.
Yeah, I
But
took on a couple of drowners that were level 10 when I was like 3, and it was like, okay, this is intense.
I took on a bunch of drowners. I didn't know I could use the crossbow. I'm like, how do I kill these things? Oh man. But let's talk about the trailer a little bit, which I actually applaud them for because they know how to pick parts. By that I mean they know what venues to play trailers on. Like the theatrical trailer is usually what you see on TV. It is on the internet. I'm not gonna lie, it is on the internet. But if you look on Steam, a lot of in-game footage, or trailers, if you will, of in-game footage are on Steam. So, I mean, they kind of know how to pick their venues. Honestly, that theatrical trailer was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Made me
yeah.
want to buy the game. I was like, okay, I'm good. I don't even know what this is about, but I'm in.
Yeah, that was pretty much me. I was like, I don't know. And then I saw the theatrical trailer, and I was like, where do I sign up?
Yeah. And we're not really always sold on theatrical trailers like me and you. We're like, well, how does in-game look? And then I'm like, I saw in-game. I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. I mean, I know
Yeah,
some. Go
I
ahead.
really like it when you get the extra in game. I mean, I saw the theatrical trailer, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, find me a trailer with in game because I want to make sure that the in game actually looks decent. I saw
Maybe,
Witcher 3 in game, and it was like, okay, still looking good. Where do I buy the game?
yeah, maybe Battlefront should take a hint.
Yeah, we're not even going to go there. There's pretty much no redemption for them from what I hear.
Anyway, graphics overall. So, I mean, like I said, the game is graphically impressive. I know people were like, it's not what we originally saw. Blah, da, da, da. Well, I mean, are you really that mad? I mean, the game is kind of came out with. There were issues, but they're like. I, are people just hating to hate nowadays? Like, I don't get it. Like, this game is impressive. Like, it's possibly, I mean, I'm making a bold statement, but it's possibly one of the best games in the last 10 years in its genre. And yeah, in its genre, I would say, because it's hard to compare it to other games. But I
Well,
mean, go ahead.
the fact is what's important to you? You want it to
It,
look nice and be a steaming pile of crap, or do you want it to actually be a
uh,
game you want to play?
no, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I know people value games in different ways, but I was just like, there wasn't like an overwhelming amount of hate, but like it's just like you're cherry picking. It's like, oh well, the graphics aren't what they used to be. I'm like, okay, but do the mechanics work? Does the story rich and enthralling, which it is? It's like it's always something, man. It's just always something. And you can't just love a game or even a movie nowadays for what it is.
It seems like there's a lot of hate, and I don't think this game deserves it. I think this game does a perfectly good job
But
at being
it's a
what it
lot of hate
is.
on silly, like it's silly shit, right? It's just like, oh, the graphics are not what they should be. Okay, but the graphics, like I look at the graphics, I'm like, uh, that's not bad. I don't know what you guys are getting at.
Well, here's the number one thing. Okay, what do you want? You want 4K 60 frames per? Let me actually like embellish this completely. Do you want
Okay.
5K with 144 hertz monitor and 144 like frames per second, so that it's like the most ultra realistic craziness, and yet it's still a steaming pile of shit? Or do you want Minecraft, which has sold how many copies?
Can we just
Doesn't
get
look
down to the
that
fact?
phenomenal.
Can we just get down to the fact of the matter was that the game launched. It's an impressive world that you're going into. Your frame rates really don't go hectic or haywire, which I believe was part of the reason why they dumbed down the graphics a little bit, because they said that otherwise they probably were going to have frame rate issues.
Well, yeah, you
Uh,
walk into a town and you have to load a ridiculous amount of people. Your frames are going to dip
yeah,
if they're super graphically intense because it has to suddenly load a ton of graphics. It's going to dip.
yeah. I was just impressed. I mean, I'm kind of simplistic, but I was impressed by the tree and the shrub graphics. And I think they're pretty awesome. You know, the fact that you have trees I mean, it's not a new thing, but the fact that you have trees bending to the wind, rather. You have rain effects, you have an accelerated day-night cycle. Even nighttime looks really nice in the game. Like, I know sometimes that's lost upon games. It's like, like we design for one side, but we don't design for the other.
Yeah. But that goes to the credit of the company for actually having the attention to detail in making their game.
Yeah.
Which
And think
they
about
should
this.
be applauded for.
And think about this. You had the mindset to jump on Steam and check out the 80% off sale on all Witcher titles, you got this game at $43 roughly. I just whatever. People just don't value things the same way anymore. I think it's what it is. They take good quality things for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem.
They shouldn't take for granted too is, I mean, okay, fine. You don't like the fact that they dumbed down the graphics. Well, what about the 16 free DLC that they're giving you?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some of it, let's say a majority of it is aesthetically pleasing things and then there's a mission or a contract, if you will, thrown into there.
Yeah, it's the contract for the missing land. Nothing huge, not like the new expansions that you can get, but still, they give you another mission, something to do. They give you more things for your game for free. They don't ask any money of you.
Yeah, so you're getting a mission, an additional mission, and you're getting 3 aesthetically pleasing things for free. I mean, nowadays you're not going to get. It's rare that you will get 10 hours of gameplay for free or 20 hours of gameplay for free. We've gone past that point where we can, say, no, we don't want DLC on our games anymore. It's probably always going to be there.
Yeah, no, they'll never go back. It'll always be added content.
But whether it's worth it is a valid argument. I can't make a judgment on the DLC, like if it's going to be worth it. But the way in which this game is so far, I can make the assumption that it might be a good idea to invest in it.
Everything that I have done with this game so far has led me to believe that it's perfectly good. There's no reason not to. I don't feel like I'm getting cheated by anything. I feel like I am getting every dollar that I paid into it, and I have already bought other games that I want refunds for.
Yeah, like tell me about it.
Like, they're terrible, and I would like my money back on some of these games.
Speaking of which, like, not to just jump in here, but when was the last time a company said, I mean, and look, I don't know all game titles, but when was the last time a company said, hey, we're also giving you 30 hours of DLC? They actually told you how many playable hours were in the DLC before it was released.
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of open communication between the developers and the community is something that we always wanted. We want to just tell us what we're getting. We'll happily pay whatever you want. Just tell us what we're giving.
Yeah, exactly.
And voila, transparency between two people.
Yeah,
like, what more do you want?
I think the guys at CD Projekt Red and women, to be fair, know their product. They know that they made a great product, and they're like, look, we don't have to say anything that's not gonna not be true. We're just gonna lay it all out there. It seems to work for us. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen nothing but good things from this company, and I'm happy with that because there are other companies that don't do this. So I don't understand.
And still don't learn from it. But one day soon. But let's go into bugs and glitches. I know you got a few subjects. The only one that I ran into was when I first got the game. It was kind of a weird thing. I would be in inventory, and it was after I got to a certain part of the game, and I'd be in inventory, swapping around gear as you do, and the game would freeze. So it was a weird solution, but the solution you had to do was like you had to set your maximum frames per second to unlimited, which apparently fixed the issue. I don't know why. It did though, but that's just it. I don't know. I mean, Ansem, I know you probably ran across one or two or
I didn't
found a
run
few.
across that specific one, and I haven't ran across some of the other ones. Like when I got the game and I started playing, I knew about the NVIDIA Hairworks performance craziness. Like apparently, it dropped you down to like 5 frames a second or something like that because the hair is too OP. So I just turned that one off immediately. So I've never run into that.
The white hair is too OP, is what you say?
Yes. Now the thing that I ran into is that when I alt tab out, when I go ahead and go back into the game, the first time that I hit shift, like I'm about to run, for some reason the game interprets that suddenly as a shift tab, and so fucking Steam's menu pops up, and I'm like, what the fuck? That I don't know if it's a serious issue.
That's a Steam thing.
I'm trying to find out exactly what's going on with that. That way I can tell it to whichever person screwed it up and they can fix it so I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
But I just recently started dealing with that one.
Yeah, that's definitely a Steam related thing. That doesn't really have anything to do with the game though, right?
I don't know. I don't know who's holding the tab button press. Is it the Steam client? Is it the game? I gotta find out which one, and then I'll tell whoever it is that's screwing up that they're screwing up and fix it.
Yeah. You fix this. You fix it now, Gaben. Anyway, well, we kind of talked about game style and pace, right? Just to get a little bit more specific, you're outfitted with a steel sword, a silver sword, a crossbow, magical abilities or signs, if you will, and I believe you get a handful of other magical items that I haven't gotten yet. I know there's like one that takes away illusions. There's also a magical lamp in the game. Yes, there's a magic lamp in the game.
There's actually a whole host of different items and different things that you can use in this game. It's actually a very well-rounded game in having diversity and different playstyles because of that, as far as I can tell.
I mean, I don't know about you though, but I think one of my favorite abilities besides Aard, which is the telekinetic blast where you can kind of knock people back, is Igni. I like Igni a lot. It just seems like it sets you up to get a critical hit a lot of the time.
I like Igni, but I don't use it quite as much as Axie. I think Axie is probably the one that I use the most. But I really do enjoy Igni when I'm trying to deal with like a group of mobs, like especially like when you run into the wolf packs. Igni right there, best fucking spell ever. Yeah, because you just light them all on fire and they leave you alone for 2 seconds so that you can like figure out how to deal with them. I do know that Igni's upgraded version will allow you to damage armor with heat from Igni. So,
I want it. Screw those assholes with shields.
Yeah, especially them shield moves.
Oh my god.
I think I want to go ahead and go with that one. I'm not sure. We're still deciding exactly how I'm going to do my play style, but all of the signs seem to have a lot going for them.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Others, though, don't. Like,
really?
Well, some do, but Yurden seems to not do a whole lot right off the bat. It seems like you really need to upgrade it before it does a whole lot of worthwhileness. I mean, when you upgrade it all the way up, it slows the enemy, it damages them, and it stops all projectiles from flying through the area, as well as increasing how big the area is when you get it high enough level. Right away, it does some benefits, but its upgraded form seems like it's actually useful against non-magical creatures, because one of the biggest things is getting the specters to become solid so you can hit them with a silver sword.
Okay, so 4 out of 5 ain't bad, is what you're saying.
Starting
out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy because that shows a well-roundedness too. That's also like, hey, you're not OP right away. You can't just walk in and do whatever you want. Like, you need to know what the hell you're doing or you will die.
Yeah, I can agree with that. All right. Oh, Roach. How I love for you to get lost behind houses.
Dude, I had one spawn inside a wall. Fuck
He's right inside
roach.
the wall. Oh
I
my
don't know
god.
exactly what's up with it. Like maybe it has like a bug in the spawn mechanic or something. I would just assume that it would select somewhere other than the middle of a wall to spawn. But fuck roach.
Yeah.
Also, he gets
if we
scared
didn't,
really fucking easy, even with
yeah.
the better blinders.
For you guys didn't know, and if I didn't say it right off the bat, Roach is your horse in the game, and he's a little scaredy pants about everything.
Yeah, I mean, it takes like I think like 3 wolves biting at you, and instantly he's not okay anymore.
Oh yeah, he'll try to kick you, but he won't try to kick the NPCs coming after him. Like I had one time where he tried to buck, like he bucked, he threw me off. Then I went to go run after him and get him. He tried to kick me. Like thankfully it didn't work, but
Dude, I have that guy run away from me. I'm like, where are you going, horse?
just because I gave you cool armor doesn't make you a jerk. Oh man. I don't know if you want to wrap it up with a couple things here. I mean, we talked about the fights and how they're tactical and fun. I mean, they really are.
It's the thing that sold me on this game the most. I swear to God, that's the number one thing is the fact that you actually need to fucking think about fighting. It's not just fucking wailing on whatever's in front of you.
Thank God, man. It's not. It's. Well, I mean, to make it no, I won't. I won't even compare it to that. It's not. It's not a valid comparison. Um. Yeah, I mean, I just love the fact that you have to. I'm a big person on if I can think about it, I want to do it, and I think this game allows you to do that to the fullest possible degree.
Pretty much.
Like if you want to go and fight 5 deserters and you want to jump in off your horse and shoot somebody with a telekinetic blast, or you want to burn them, or you want to mind control one because you're in the bushes, or if you want to go in, basically, put your defensive shield on Quen, you can do that and just kick some ass, and it's just the possibilities are endless, and it's a lot of fun, is what I'm trying to say. Again, my name is THB, and I'd like to thank Ansem for contributing to the podcast. If you like the conversation or just want to contribute your 2 cents about specific subjects, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast and continue to listen to us as the first season goes on. We will see you in the next episode.
See you guys.